Aquaculture is a rapidly expanding industry that offers business opportunities. Campaigns on fish consumption have been around for many years in many countries. Thus, there is an increase in the demand on fish consumption, while the supply is limited. The supply of fish is further limited with the increase of people's awareness in preserving nature, including marine nature. Many countries impose heavy regulations on wild fishing as an act of government realization in environmental preservation. With that, aquaculture fish farming is becoming more and more attractive to both existing fishery businesses and newcomers.
In the last 50 years, global meat consumption has more than quadrupled, from 71 million tons to 310 million tons. So is our global population, from 7 billion of us today to 9.7 billion by 2050. Which means that by 2050 we are going to need at least 70% more protein than what is available to humankind today. And the latest prediction of the UN puts that population number by the end of this century at 11 billion, which means that we are going to need a lot more protein.
As global hunger is on the rise, fish farms are helping to meet the ever-increasing demand for seafood. In fact, aquaculture currently supplies over 50% of all seafood produced for human consumption, and that number is still rising.
Fish farming lessens the tax on wild populations and allows us to replenish the food supply at a faster rate than the oceans can produce it, allowing for suppliers to keep up with demand.
It's also often cheap and easy to create, as fish farms can be built and established anywhere where there is a body of water. For marine aquaculture, tanks can be built and placed on the seafloor or be left hanging in columns, while for freshwater aquaculture, tanks and cages can be built on land as well in lakes, rivers, and artificial ponds.
Not to mention the fact that it creates numerous jobs for people who reside in impoverished areas where unemployment is high. It's also very prevalent in Asia, where it provides thousands and thousands of jobs.
Fish farming is by far the best animal farming available to humankind, but it's had a really bad reputation. There's been excessive use of chemicals, there's been virus and disease transfer to wild populations, ecosystem destruction and pollution, escaped fish breeding with wild populations, altering the overall genetic pool, and then of course, as just mentioned, and the unsustainable feed ingredients.
Currently, fish feed is really unsustainable, as an additional 30 million tons of fish are used for fish feed every year. To give you an idea of the gravity of the situation, it takes about 26 pounds of fish meal to create 1 pound of bluefin tuna, making many farms extremely inefficient.
Wild species are now at risk of being overfished to provide a food source for farmed fish.